Guys, I'm live. Welcome back to my channel. The way I'm glowing. Not by choice. If you are new here, welcome, and hope you'll find this content valuable. You'll find this content adding life to your life, and you will stay and you would subscribe, but only subscribe when you really are gonna come back and watch the content. And if you've been in this home, thank you so much. I truly appreciate those who've been here for a while, those who started with me when I switched on the camera for the world to listen to what I have to share. I truly appreciate. And yes, people who like the video, people who shares the content, people who comments and share their personal experiences. I truly appreciate Lina and Nomvuyo. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Sadly, the natural light is gone. I've been gallivanting and I tried to actually I wasn't gonna go live. I was gonna upload a mini vlog, but my vlog became so mini that I thought, no, I'm not a mini mommy, so I can't be mean. I have to give it some fat, and when I've fattened it up, like that calf that you'll be slaughtering for some function, and yeah, I'll then upload it. So I thought I promised to tell one of my travel stories, and there's lots where this story is coming from. And I thought, no, I ought to come in no matter what and sit and share the story. And as you are coming in, please do like ambient Tsigizo, Bonsile. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. And I can see you are definitely liking. So I was still appreciating your presence. Yeah, I was still appreciating your support and everything that you do for me. Truly appreciate. And guys, this story got me touched a bit, and I carried on with my life until I was on was it Instagram, I think, and someone shared a similar story, or not even similar, but you're gonna soon understand the connection. So let's connect the puzzle. So I'm sitting in my house and I'm minding my own business, searching on social media, and the next thing I come across this lady on Instagram, and this lady is reading a and it's sort of a post or a story, and wanting people's opinions and views ukuthi what's their take on this story. So guys, we are human beings, so we take ourselves when we travel all over the world. So if you're someone who suffers from sinuses like myself, I'm still going to go across the globe with my sinuses. If you've got a certain chronic illness, chances are it's still you that is traveling. So there's no leaving anything behind. You're still taking all your issues and all your baggages, except including your luggage and your baggage, and plus the baggage that is in you with you. So basically, the lady was saying there was a doctor on board, and the doctor was off duty. The doctor had few drinks prior to boarding the flights, and it happened that someone fell ill while the flights, the plane was flying to the destination. And what was the doctor supposed to do? Because then someone said, there's a doctor on board. Can the doctor come and assess this person who's fallen ill, a patient at the time, and assist with consultation? I mean, he's a doctor, he studied, he knows better than everyone else, and maybe provide solutions, and even maybe prescribe a medication. But this doctor had few drinks prior to boarding the plane. He had stopped at a slow lounge, and he was a bit intoxicated. And he said, unfortunately, I can't help the patient or the person who's flying, and sorry, I'm off duty, I'm not in the right frame of mind since I've had few drinks. So there's absolutely nothing that can be done. So people are given the platform to say, voice your opinion. If you were that doctor, were you gonna assist the patient, or you were gonna be like this doctor who said, sorry, I'm off duty and I had few drinks or two or less or however many, and I cannot help. So this got me thinking, because yo, it's a tough one. Personally, I thought when you fly, there's automatically doctors on standby, or there's a medical personnel that is on standby. But guys, unfortunately, it's just the flight attendants. I quite believe and hope they do go for your first aid training like we would in our areas of corporates. I mean, when I was in corporate, we would be offered, you'll be offered to volunteer to go and become a first aid personnel for that company for that particular period. Because remember, the certificate, I think it's only valid for a year or 6 months. And you can correct me for those who are first aid officials at work, or the firefighter. So it's good to jump for those opportunities and raise your hand and say, I volunteer, because that will help your colleagues should something happen at work, and it will also help you in your personal capacity at home. When you need to help a family member, your own kids, yourself, you'll know exactly what to do in case of fire, in case of an emergency, because they give you proper training for free. And guys, it costs money to go and train to become a first aider or to become a firefighter. So if you work for a company that gives you such opportunities, don't just go there, guys, for work, and lunch times and toxic relationships with colleagues, as they are not always toxic, but you get what I mean. Grab such opportunities. So I was under the impression when I fly, or whichever flight, someone will be on standby in case something goes wrong. But guys, it doesn't work like that. Until I was flying from Mexico. Yes, I think it was my flight from Mexico. We boarded the plane, everything was good and well. And in fact, let me take a step back. Prior to boarding the plane, I spent a couple of hours at the airport in Mexico City before flying out of Mexico City. I'm just trying to think. When I left Mexico, I was going to Guatemala. So my flight went from Cancun to Mexico City, and my transit was in Mexico City before flying out to Guatemala. So while I was at the airports, I sat, while I was waiting for my next flight, I sat direct or just across the security control area. So I could see when people would take their jackets, take their clothes, when they will do the, search, the thorough one, where they put on the gloves. If they do went buzzing and they suspected that you're carrying something on the red logs or whatever. So I was sitting there and watching this whole thing play out, and I'm thinking, yeah, the stress of traveling, but we'll talk about that in a separate video. So now, while I'm watching and people are removing, others will even take their phones out of their bags. I don't know what rule is that. I mean, I leave my phones in my bags, and I've never been told to remove my phone from my handbag. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm just dripping, I guess, from the cold, freezing weather to the heat. My sinuses are just letting go. So when you see me ducking, don't leave the video. I'm just cleaning myself. I'll be back. So excuse me, guys. It's good bad. It's bad. Change of season, change of climate is messing up my system. So when I do this, you remain. Mommy will be back. So while I'm sitting there, I'm looking at this whole shebang. You have to remove, you have to. Hey, ngoba siyasetshenzwa ema-airports. Hey, when you are done, you feel like you've been spring cleaning your house. This thing of flying, I know there's people who pray that one day, people who've never boarded a flight, that God, please hear my prayers. Can I at least one day find myself walking down the aisle? And they mean exactly the aisle in the plane, not the aisle that you could be thinking of. But good luck. Come join us and feel the heat. So I'm looking at this family that's approaching now, and there's an elder who was approaching the security control personnel. And when I say an elder, guys, I'm not taking a 70-year-old. That lady looked fragile from where I was sitting. And she's expected to remove, and it was winter time in Central America at the time, and she's removing, but taking her time because she's no longer strong and healthy and fit. But she's flying or she's traveling with her family members. And I'm sitting and I'm watching, I'm like, yeah, yay, hey, bazokupetula airports. So she's removing, and the next thing I'm like, oh, for such an old lady, it's so too much stress. I mean, it's tough when you're young, even if you know you're not even carrying anything. The whole process and experience is daunting and really nerve-wracking, especially if you're someone who suffers from nerves, and those who do will understand, who can't chill and relax and breathe and just think this too shall pass. Certainly, we need to go through that. After paying a fortune to fly to your destination, this too shall pass. So I'm looking at this lady, then she takes things slowly, her jacket, and they now even searching her. I'm thinking, is there a need? But then I remember the series, some series that I normally watch, and they use the old ladies, to shove some things. So unfortunately, there's no VIP treatment or senior citizen treatment. Everyone needs to go through the whole search and all that. And guys, and I'm like, oh, this must be tough for this lady. I'm thinking, and I'm deep. I'm now into this woman all of a sudden, and I'm just, dissecting what she's going through, and I'm thinking deep. And guys, the next thing, I must have gone for coffee for 5 minutes or so, and I come back. I just looked up, there was already the nurses, the wheelchair was there, and I'm like, guys, don't, and guys is me now, don't tell me it's the lady that I was, guys, my invisible friends, imaginary friends. I'm like, guys, don't tell me it's the lady we were watching and worrying about, and yet it was her. So they were now putting her on the wheelchair and pushing her to the medical center to be checked and all that, because obviously, guys, this incident must have caused and some bit of health issues and raised the blood pressure and all that. So, okay, I'm just praying that she gets okay. And she's, guys, when I say she's frail, she was frail. She wasn't a 70-year-old. She was an old, old, old granny. So then prayed, moved on, sat, waited for my flights, and as it was time for me to move to my boarding gate, I see the very same family. They pushing her, and her kids are all over her. You can see the son-in-law and daughter, or daughter and son, or daughter-in-law and son. There's just that whole shebang, and grandchildren around her trying to comfort her. Then we boarded. She boarded the same plane as mine. I think they were also flying to Guatemala. I'm not sure if they were gonna go elsewhere after that. We get in the plane. As we are in the plane, okay, then they disappeared. They must have, their seats were somewhere else. But then I circled. Oh, okay. In fact, I think I'm wrong. I was coming back to SA. Nevertheless, it doesn't matter what my destination was. So I circled Kusitiami, and I was chilled. And guys, so I was in the middle seats, and then there were two seats, the aisle, then two seaters, the window seat and the aisle. So straight to where I was sitting, there was an old lady, not the same one, who was sitting by the window seat, and then I think that's the daughter who was sitting by the aisle. So I circled my seat, doesn't mind a lot, praying, good nje, you know what, get ready, prayers and graces for my journey. Then, guys, the plane took off. Okay, the whole, and as we wait, guys, for the plane to take off, when they do their final process, it gets very hot. Those who fly know this. Then the air cons are off. someone did explain, because we had another incident, and the father of this child now was losing it, saying the reason why the daughter is going through this is because it's so hot in here. So it becomes so hot. Those air cons went on as yet, and that was a domestic flight, if memory serves me well. But this was an international flight, so it is hot. I'm not a person who feels too hot. I'm a cold-blooded animal, but I was feeling the heat. It's like, oh, it is so hot, and they're busy finalizing the packing of bags. The whole flying unnecessary stress that takes place and the processes, because you can see every box must be ticked. And if you are a flight attendant, or you were in years ago, in case you don't want to get into trouble, please holler at me. I would love to interview you. I've got so many questions I would love to ask, which will benefit my family here on my corporate journey about this whole business of flying. But I've read up, and I'll come and share with you as to what exactly goes on, the little that I've read. So then we are heated, we are all that. Then we are told, fasten up the whole thing of, if something emergency, how we must, inflate them, all the life jackets, and put on the masks. That was done. And then the flight took off. When the takeoff was finalized, and now here we are on the air flying, few minutes later, I just turned, guys, and the old lady had, she wasn't fitting, but the daughter just screamed and said, guys, guys, please help my mom, please help my mom. And guys, she was in a state, her eyes were turning around, and to experience such in a flight is something else. So that's when I realized there aren't any doctors on board. So I'm saying, can we get a doctor? Can we get a doctor? Because the flight attendants, the one came, and the problem now, as they speak in Spanish. So now they're trying to get someone who can speak both Spanish and English. And at the time, sadly, guys, my Spanish was un poquito, un poquito español. And when you are in such a state, you need proper Spanish. You even need to know the proverbs, medical terms, because that was serious business. So she just said, help my mom, help my mom. And I'm like, can we get doctors? Doctors. I'm thinking the flight provides doctors. So I'm also from a distance, because I don't want to go close by. It's too hot. She needs some air. I know a little bit about first aid, and when someone is in that situation, what not to do. We can't all be there. But guys, the woman was just going on. Akipama. I was like praying. That's all I did. I'm like, yo, that must be something else. The daughter just said, guys, my mom is going. My mom, she was in a state. And they all came eventually in numbers, Gwashumtanami. And as they got there, they just standing there. Who can speak English? And this woman is acting up. What can be done? What's going on? And there's this huge language barrier, because they only speak in Spanish. Who can translate? And guys, I was shocked later on when I uncovered or discovered that the guy who was sitting next to me could speak both languages, but he didn't even move. He not a single bone in his body. He just sat there and looked at that woman, and only later he told me, I fluently speak both. We were talking about something else towards the end of the flight, Spanish and English. And I sat there and I thought, but when we needed someone who could help the lady who was in a state, you just didn't even offer. But I guess people have their own reasons why they act the way they act. And there's so much I can say about that guy, but out of respect, can I just keep my views to myself? But I was taken aback, And they came there, and guys, there was no doctor. There was no doctor who came through. The woman went through the whole episode, like she looked like someone who was fainting, someone who was gasping for air, someone who was just losing it. And it was hectic to watch. And God, being a loving God, after a while, I just saw her eyes opening up without any help, without nobody could translate from their Spanish talking, speaking doctor to the English part, side of things. And I was shaken, but I was grateful to God with that woman didn't lose her life in a plane. She made it safe. And that's where I started becoming interested. Ukuthi, how Gandhi, are there no doctors on board? You know, they talk about doctors without borders. Do we have doctors on board? And then I came to realize no flight has doctors. However, if you are lucky to fly with someone who is a doctor, who is in a medical profession, when you are feeling unwell or you having an episode during flying. But what I saw, guys, was beyond me. Yeah, it confirmed that when your house is not ready in heaven, you're going nowhere, because that woman did everything that said this is it, and she still came back because it wasn't her time. And thank God, I wouldn't want to experience that. Then that's why I learned ukuthi there aren't any doctors on board. But if it happens that you fly in with a doctor and you happen to fall ill, then the flight attendants or the family or people who think straight and are, you know, they are about life, not death, will ask, is there a doctor in this plane? Please come and assist. And the doctor will come and assist you out of the kindness and the oath that they took when they became doctors. That's how you'll get help. But if you happen to fall ill, unless someone can tell me that there are doctors on board, they fly with doctors, I'll be relieved. But I came back and did my research, and from my mini research without any uh, what do I want to say, academic background about flights and doctors. So I didn't go and write a paper, but I just did my mini research, which is limited. It was clear that there's no flight that comes with a doctor. However, a doctor who's flying with you at the time when your madlosis and your God is with you can raise his or her hand and say, can I check on this patient and help you out of ubudoktar bakhe ney'fungo zakhe, not because they are obliged. Hence, when I saw that video on Instagram where the doctor refused to help the patient on board because he had taken 2 drinks and he felt he wasn't in a good state and frame of mind to consult, you know, with a patient. That's what happened. So yeah, guys, we learn every day. We learn, yeah, and it's things we spoke about medical insurance, but remember, things don't only happen when you land, things can happen while you are flying. And that really, really shocked me. And guys, because I'm a curious being, I went as far as searching what happens if you lose your life while on board. You are flying, you're on air, and oh, what happens if someone just, because that shook me, you know, and it's something I always thought, okay, if you're not well, I'm sure there'll be a doctor to help you to you know, maybe I'm not sure about prescribing, maybe it's taking it too far. Maybe check and say relax and drink some water, lay your head this side, don't lay it this side, and all that. But then this made me research even further, Gucci. What happens if, yeah, someone passes on while flying? And what I found was, yeah, baffling. And I was like, yo, this is serious. I hope I don't lose my life go flies, because yeah, they just explained they cover you as though you are sleeping because they don't want to cause the whole hoo-ha. and others, I guess it depends on the airline. Others will take you, guys, air take you, I didn't see. I just know they'll take a blankie, like how they will do anywhere else, and just you'll be like ulele, and then when the flight lands, that's where they will put you where you need to be placed and be transferred to a, a mock and all that. So imagine you sitting next to me, and I'll use me as an example because I'm not scared of death. And then I leave this earth, and when I are, window seats, and you just see them going like this, you think, this lady sleeping. God, yes, I am sleeping, but forever. So it's things we don't think too far about. It's things that shocks us when we see them happening. But the lady who really felt very sick, and yeah, and was losing it hectically, and the daughter was all over the show, really scared me. That was a real scare. And thank God it was nothing hectic. Eventually the mother came back and became strong, and yeah, fit, if I may use that word, compared to where the stage she was at. And as the journey continued, as we were flying, I could see the daughter, I wish it was a doctor, trying to comfort her, put her we shoulder, and because she was also not a young lady. The daughter must be my age or much older than me. So the lady was not young, but not as frail as the lady that had episode at the airport. And with that said, yeah, guys, it's important to take care of yourself and know, Gucci, flying is very stressful. And yeah, it's a lot that takes place at the airport. It's a walk. It is the heat. It's the luggage. It's passports, immigration, passport control, it's security control, it's boarding time. And if you are late, you're rushing to get there. Guys, it's an extreme sport. It is an extreme sport, and I would love to sit down and break it down one day, step by step, for people who've never been through this to just picture it, and those who've been, and maybe they normally just operating on autopilot, they can just come back to their senses and feel how everyone else feels when they are actually traveling. It is an extreme sport. So just make sure you've got your medication with you, you've eaten in the morning, especially if you suffer from you are diabetic, and you just cannot go for a prolonged period without having something to eat. And carry your stuffed in, but cause fruits and nuts, and something that normally boosts your blood levels if they drop, or however way. We all know what helps us. In my case, I'll most probably carry my spray for my sinuses, which I must use now to try and dry up a bit, because I've been just draining, and it is the change of climate. It makes sense. But make sure, guys, and take it easy. Don't rush. We've spoken about that. And if anything, if you experience what I experienced, and I don't know what happens if you're flying or traveling solo, like a person like me. But blessed are those who travels with their families or partners or friends, because then someone can ask for help. Is the doctor on board? Please come and help my friend. But if you're traveling solo, I think you just depend on God's mercy that a good Samaritan will call unto the doctor to come through and help you. But life happens, guys, and those are some of the things that you come across when, I guess, I had been on the road, or in the planes, or flying or traveling for a prolonged time. So I was bound to see a lot, and I least expected to see someone getting to that level of sickness while in the plane. And nobody except the flight attendants who stood around and kept on saying who can speak both languages, who can, and I'm thinking it would be great if they can just give the old lady some fresh air, because they all gathered there with no help. And I was like stunned, because I thought they would come with some, first aid box, and or that a blood pressure monitor or something, but there's absolutely nothing. So please do know, and if you can take your own equipments, I know there's people, if it's allowed, who checks their own blood pressure, they check their own sugar. So do that before you fly, and if you feel some type of way, make sure you or maybe let them know. It's just that when it comes to illnesses, it doesn't knock at your door and tells you in 15 minutes I can feel this strong and healthy, and 20 minutes and hlanga to we couldn't save her, she's no more, type of a thing. And I pray to God I get to live longer to see my great grandchildren. But life does happen, and it can happen in places that you least expected, in planes, on in land, on the land, while you are in the boat or cruise. It is everywhere where you find a human being. Chances are, you will find such incidents. So this is one of the sad stories, but with a happy ending, because the woman finally got well and managed to fly to her final destination with her daughter. And I hope they were going back home, they were not going on holiday, because you can just imagine how that shook their holiday a bit. And but I hope there are positive people who were able to look past it and still enjoy, regardless of what they had experienced. And the trauma, I mean, I was traumatized myself. Can you imagine the daughter seeing your mom in that state, turning the eyes turning white, and nje, yeah, foam coming out, if it's called foam, angazi igwebu libizwani eliphuma ngomlomo, and she was hysterical. But God came through at the right time, and all is well. So please do take care of yourself. Do ask if there's a doctor on board. Ask for someone's help. Don't sit there and suffer alone. And if you are not well, tell the flight attendants you are not feeling well, and ask if they can help you with a doctor, which is if your matter is serious, because it depends on the severity of the situation. And really don't, ningaziqinisi. Some people sit as though they are in jail, or I can't move, I'm in this plane now, or sit now, I'm buckled up. Even if my stomach is cramping and I cannot feel my body, I just have to sit. Like, no, guys, press that button to call on to flight attendants and tell them you are not feeling well. And there's people who has motion sicknesses, or sickness, who just don't feel well while flying, and others don't fly at all because they don't feel well. Others throw up, and abanye babane ear issue, hectic illnesses while on air. Don't just sit and think it will disappear. If you feel Gucci, you are not well, ask for help, and I promise you there will be help. There will be help, even if it's just someone giving you water and checking on you. Gusi, ma'am, are you okay? Because I'm not sure about medical help. So guys, if you do know if there's always doctors on board, please let us know, and please share with us. And if you have another solution, on what to do, apart from calling on the flight attendants to assist, please do share. I'm wondering if there could be something else that could be done at that point in time. But what we shouldn't do is just to like, downplay our, yeah, the way we feel. If you're not okay, let even the stranger that's sitting next to you know. So I know sometimes we don't know each other, so people look so intimidating and too serious. It's because they don't, so there's people that you you sit next to them, you greet them, they smile, and you're like, okay, human being, just like me. I'm not saying others are animals, but there's just people where you, even your greeting in 100 languages, saying hello to them is just not enough to for them to greet back, and with the trouble in paradise. But if times are tough and you need special attention, speak to even that lo okwatile ongazi ukuthi why eyibumbile, because you really really need help at that time. But thank you so much, my kids. That is one of my travel stories. I'll come back with some more when I can, when I don't have content. And guys, I've got so much to share. I've got so much to share, and the lessons that can be learned from them, because yeah, I went through, Nami, my unfair share of traveling, yeah, dramas and challenges and whatever. So I'll come back with another story. With this said, let me not forget to say thank you so much for listening to your mom, and make sure you're always safe. Make sure you take your medication. If you do, make sure you're always healthy. And I truly and honestly appreciate everything from the hearts that I see, from Abo Bonsile to Abo happy birthday at Bonsile Mthembu. How about Bonsile? Birthday yako. Oh my word, girl. Happy birthday. Wishing you all the best, sweetie pie. It is my birthday to 43. Please sing for me. Oh, Batu. Let's see. Let's see which one. Guys, it was a birthday song that I saw. I wish I could sing that one for you. Where's my other phone? Hey, Monsile Mosoporega. Ikshiyan Kamsile. Now we're based on Kreta. Let's not sing it too, because you are 43. Maybe I'll sing it to a 20 odd. I'll play it on my phone. If someone turns is still in their 20s, 43, let's respect. This is now real wisdom. When God has said, my baby girl, I want you to go on earth and spend time and enjoy. 43 is still young. You can still double that age and couple of years even. 43 times 2, which will be 86, and still have extra more years. I'm a bonus. So when we talk about bonus, but let me just sing the ordinary one. It's a happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Bonisile. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip, hooray! No happy, hooray! Ngeke ngithi, how old are you now? How old are you? Ngizothi una 1, una 2, una 3, una 30, una 40, una 43. Yeah. So many, many more years, Bonsile. Thank you so much for your support, Sisi. You're one of the names that I can easily recognize, because you're always here, you're always supporting, and the right thing to do is to support you back. And may God continue to bless you with nothing but the best. More wisdom, peace. In our 40s, we just chill and live the best life. May you live the best life ever. In our late 30s, 40s, you don't care what the next person think. It's all about you. So can you continue with that trend and just live life to the fullest and be spontaneous? If now you want to leave your house and go get your piece of cake in a certain pastry or pasterious shop, whatever they call them, just get into your car right now and drive and go sit and enjoy that slice of cake, because that is the life we should be living. And in fact, you remind me, I did a live video on what you should be doing in your 20s, what you should be doing in your 30s. I need to move to what you should be doing in your 40s. And I shared those on my Facebook, Feel at Home. So I'm going to do the live video on what exactly, excuse me, you should be doing in your 40s. I'll touch the 50s when I get to my 50s, not now, because how will I even know unless I go and search what people are doing in their 50s? But all the best guesses in many, many more years. Hey, my love. Oh gosh, I was stressing yesterday. My cell phone frozen. I couldn't comment. So welcome back, mom. Lots of love from Sipogazi Siqendu from Eastern Cape. Thank you, Sipogazi. Thank God your phone is sorted and you are able to say hi, mom. And I see all the highs, highs, highs. Hi, hi, darlings. And have a great evening. Have a great night. And that may the Almighty God continue to bless you. And those who are celebrating something special, may your night or your day, I hope, was very special. And may your night be even more special, like Bonsile, who is celebrating her birthday many, many more years. And thank you guys. Don't forget to like, don't forget to not skip the ads, don't forget to call more people to come and learn as much as they can about finances, about traveling, and about work life, because I will be focusing on the other areas of this particular content as well. I know it's been predominantly about travel, but I haven't forgotten about the financial side, personal financial side. And I don't want to say personal financial, which will include business as well, and also the work section of our lives, what we should be doing, how we should be looking for work, how we should be conducting ourselves, how we should be promoting ourselves and taking care of this brand, because everybody is a brand. Brand is not only the big names. We are a brand, nathi ngokwethu. So thank you and take care and good night. See you again tomorrow. I promised that until the 13th, because 14th, it's 14th, yes, will be Ash Wednesday. So that's when I'll be starting to revert back to uploading videos and coming live every now and then, like my child who asked, I must still do lives and not only videos. However, every day we've got a date. I'll make sure I come through live and throw a video. I've got a video that I'll finish off most probably tomorrow that I'll upload. And please watch, guys, even if it's not a live video, it's just a video, because I know you end up getting comfortable with only lives. When it's a video, there'll be less views. Love your mom, whether she's video rising or live video rising. So just watch and continue supporting. Truly appreciate. Mwah! Good night.